and there's a tear-off caught maybe somewhere.
Front wing, I think. Is it George Russell? Does he have a front flap damage?
One of the more extraordinary starts to the season, and it looked like Lando Norris had finally got the start that he needed, but the grandstands are going wild.
He was gonna leave the car with. I mean, I got the penalty for that, so.
Russell is heading backwards, might be about to lose another position, trying to keep Perez at bay. He does keep Perez at bay. Let's all have a deep breath and tell you that Oscar Piastri is the leader. Then it's Charles Leclerc. Lando Norris down 2 places. Sainz up 1. Hamilton up 1. Max Verstappen wasn't happy with the tactic that were employed, and Charles Leclerc, who's won this Grand Prix in 2019 for Ferrari, is all over the back of Oscar Piastri, who put one of the moves. Well, that is contentious to do it to anyone around the outside of the second chicane, but your own teammate, magical stuff at Monza.
Yeah, I think Lando, when he replays that in his mind, will feel that he could have been a little bit more aggressive. I'm just trying to see if we can get a front shot of George Russell, because there was definitely something flapping off. It looked more as the dust that was kicked up by the Haas the previous lap. And, well, Oscar has to be first man through it, and that little dust just gets settled in your tyres, and we'll clean up a little bit on the straight, but he'll feel it. And now we may well find ourselves, we're into very early management.
George had a lot of damage. He's dangerous.
Copy that.
Penalise the gain that he got from missing out the chicane. Did he actually ended up filtering back in alongside his teammate Lewis Hamilton?
I'd like to point out Verstappen here on the hard tyres is managing to stay with Lewis Hamilton, so nicely done there from Verstappen. Even though he is on the slower tyres by 0.2 of a second, 0.3 of a second, he's coming into he's staying behind Hamilton. Perez comes over the racing. Russell has damage. There has been damage to Russell's car. When he went off at turn number 1, he damaged his car, and Perez is coming over the radio saying, oh, it's not safe. Russell has to come into the pits. We'll see if the FIA does anything about that, but that should be kept in mind. George Russell has got a damaged car. All right, the gap up at the front is 0.6 of a second, and look at that. Leclerc has broke DRS on Lando Norris. Norris falling foul of the DRS detection point, and he's now more than a second behind Charles Leclerc. He's not going to have DRS down the Ascari straight, and we'll see what he can do going into Parabolica. All right. Here we go then. Let me know, folks, who you think is going to win this race. Will it be Oscar Piastri? Will he be able to hold on to this lead for the remaining 50 laps of this Grand Prix, or will it be someone else? There has been an incident noted between Hülkenberg and Ricciardo causing a collision. Ricciardo may have a penalty coming his way. We'll have to wait and see. I haven't seen the replay as of yet. Sergio Perez in 8th position. He's looking to gain on George Russell, but Russell is managing to hold on. He even goes a little bit onto the grass here, trying to extend track limits as much as he possibly can. He goes onto the grass ever so slightly. Russell is really pushing hard. He's got a damaged car, but he's managing to hang on for now. We'll see how he can do for the remaining of this first stint. Okie dokes, what a race start this has been. What happened to Norris, I don't know. In fact, he's just at a fastest lap of the race. He catches up a little bit to Charles Leclerc, and yeah, I don't know. We'll see if he doesn't have DRS once again, though. And Sainz is now going to be trying to catch up to him. Both Ferraris have got DRS on both McLarens, and the McLarens don't have any DRS in front of them. So, yeah, the McLarens may be sitting ducks here at Monza. DRS is actually much less effective than normal. You would think at a high-speed circuit, DRS would be more effective, but because the wings and the rear wings and the front wings are so small, the effect of DRS is quite minimal. And the drivers only gain 10 or 12 kilometers per hour going through with DRS. So let's wait and see with what Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz can do. But it would be fantastic to have 2 Ferraris on the podium at Monza. It would be a dream come true for the Ferrari fans. So let's wait and see what will happen. We're on lap number 5 of 53, and yeah, Charles Leclerc had a fantastic race start, managed to get ahead of Lando Norris. All right. Let's keep an eye out on these radio messages as well. We could get some useful information from the radio saying, oh yeah, there we go, Hulkenberg's got some front brake damage. They're checking that, and yeah, we'll have to wait and see. All right, but Verstappen's still holding his own there with the hard tyres, managing to stay ahead of George Russell. Yeah, Russell's got quite a bit of damage. His end plate has completely fallen off, so not ideal there for George Russell. He had that with a little bit of contact. I think it was with Lando Norris going into turn number 1. Piastri sets the fastest lap of the race. Nicely done. He's not got even any DRS, but he still set the fastest lap of the race, so very good job there from Oscar Piastri. Leclerc's got the fastest middle sector there, and he's looking to keep Piastri within his DRS range, so let's wait and see. Fast lap of the race goes to Charles Leclerc, and he's got the DRS on Piastri, and Sainz falls out of DRS of Lando Norris now. The drivers up at the front all spreading apart, but Charles Leclerc is not giving up just yet. He's got another fastest lap of the race. He's 4 tenths behind Piastri, which is the closest he has ever been, and we'll see if he can get a move done. We've got Nico Hulkenberg coming into the pits. They're assessing the damage for Yuki Tsunoda. Tsunoda has got some damage as well. They're replacing the front wing for Nico Hulkenberg, and they're changing. I think they're putting out a fire in his front brake duct. So yeah, let's wait and see what happens to Nico Hulkenberg. The front wing is tightened, and he comes out of the pits, but it's going to be a very slow pit stop, and he's going to need a safety car to save him, I think. Hulkenberg, what happened to him? He locked up and then crashed into Tsunoda. That's what happened with, or was it Ricciardo? I'm not sure. Oh no, it was Tsunoda. So yeah, Tsunoda's got pretty big damage from that, and Hulkenberg came into the pits and lost a lot of time as well. All right, we're getting pretty close to 300 likes, folks. If you could hit the like button, that'd be fantastic. And we're 1,000 subscribers away from 95k. So if you haven't hit the like button, then that would be appreciated as well.
That the tires are under control, and that plan B will be a longer stint length. And they're all looking for the gaps in the traffic, but you'd have thought the underlying pace of a McLaren on fresh tires with DRS
than this Grand Prix, and Sainz is once again within DRS of Lando Norris, a purple middle sector for Carlos Sainz, and
we think we need to
the
get to at least
Ferraris are chasing down the McLarens. We may have an undercut coming. We may have an undercut brewing. The undercut did work out for Lando Norris last year. He managed to undercut his teammate Oscar Piastri. So I have a feeling Sainz is going to try and undercut Norris, and Leclerc is going to try and undercut Piastri. We are approaching, well, we're halfway there to the pit stop window. The pit stop window is around about lap number 20. So let's wait and see what the drivers will do.
So Max Verstappen being told by GP, his race engineer, to keep a watching.
Okay, it's under investigation between Ricciardo and Hulkenberg. I think it was a mistake from Ricciardo, to be honest. A mistake from Hulkenberg. Yeah, Hulkenberg essentially just made a mistake. He locked up going into turn number 1 and then crashed into Tsunoda. And there's another incident between Ricciardo and Hulkenberg, and that's also under investigation. So yeah, well, not a great race for Nico Hulkenberg. He had a brilliant quali yesterday and got up into 10th position in Q3, but unfortunately not enough. Not a good race start. All right, they've come over the radio to Max Verstappen. This is the race strategy that Red Bull have decided. They have said, just keep it like this and make sure they push the medium tyres very hard. So you can give the hard tyre a much harder beating than you can the medium tyre. And Verstappen is setting the exact same lap times that Lewis Hamilton and George Russell are, but he's doing it on the hards, and the medium tyres are being pushed much harder, and the race will come to Max Verstappen. The strategy, the Hannah Schmidt strategy from the Red Bull team, seems like it might work out. Sainz has dropped back off the back of Lando Norris. That's not working well for him. Yuki Tsunoda has retired from the race, folks. If we could have a singular F in the chat from everyone for Yuki Tsunoda. He has just retired from today's race after significant damage from his contact with Nico Hülkenberg. Ooh, look at that. Oscar Piastri's car dancing around a little bit on the exit of Viscari. The rear is twitching a little bit, and those medium tyres are coming, well, they're going to be feeling the heat. Track temperature 49 degrees, and yeah, it's not great there for Piastri. We're going to see more and more sliding, and he's got to keep this under control, otherwise he's got a red Scarlet Ferrari right in his mirrors. All right. Thank you everyone for the Fs in the chat, but yeah, Tsunoda's into the pits now and he's retired from this race. Okie dokes. We have got 27,000 people watching the live stream. That is fantastic. Hope you guys are all enjoying the coverage here. We are 8/10 of a way.
Similar thing. Yeah, absolutely. And I remember on the podium, Mika wouldn't speak with me. I'd won the Grand Prix, and some crucial points in his battle with Michael had been taken away. But until such time as the team start issuing team orders, which is their right, that's in the driver's contracts, I'm sure it was in Julian's contract as well, that you should follow.
Ideal there for those two drivers. Ricciardo, you know, that was his mistake.
And until that time comes, you've got to race as hard as you can. I'm super impressed with what Piastri did there. That is not an easy move, and you've got to be so brave at the start of the Grand Prix, risking coming together with your teammate, given how new to the party McLaren are. But that's a real statement of intent. There's a long way to go in this Grand Prix, but this actually gives McLaren a bit of a problem. I'm sure that Norris, as Julian has said, is playing the long game, should in theory have the underlying case to still get in front of Leclerc. But then that leaves them the problem, do they try and switch later in the Grand Prix? I know I'm throwing it way down this afternoon, but realistically with the points gap, Norris is the man that could win the Drivers' Championship.
But Daniel Ricciardo at the first turn just covered this off when he outbraked himself. Fernando Alonso was the car ahead. He did rejoin directly behind. Jolien.
Norris has got Leclerc ahead of him now, so they can't just swap the places round because they're first and third. So they've got to do something about Leclerc, who's very fast at the moment. He's just done the fastest lap of the race. So there's two sides to this. Firstly, Piastri's move was, like I said, it was exceptional. It might be the move of the season. But the fact that there's no team orders there at McLaren and he's allowed to go and fight has given them a major headache. Norris could be just cantering away with this one, heading towards a nice win.
Here's the move for Sergio Perez. He got a horrible amount of dirty air coming through the parabolica, sent him wide through that corner. But even with that, he's able to move ahead into the braking zone and take
a single safety car.
And George Russell has gone from chasing third position, trying to turn it into second position, going long at the first corner of the racetrack, and he's tumbled down to 8th position. Kevin Magnussen fights his way by.
So what else have we got going on? Charles Leclerc, fastest lap of the race, and Piastri takes the fastest middle sector. It's always cat and mouse between these two guys, but Leclerc finally drops out DRS of Piastri. Piastri, after 11 laps of pushing those medium tyres to the absolute limit, he's managed to drop Charles Leclerc from DRS, and a single mistake going through the second chicane or through Ascari, and he will be lose out massively.
The front wing of that
All
car.
right.
Yeah, I think he's struggling for pace, isn't he?
Let's wait and see. Ooh, we've got an overtake going on here. Who is that? Daniel Ricciardo gets overtaken by Kevin Magnussen. A sensational overtake from Kevin Magnussen. So precise in his car placement. Daniel Ricciardo could do absolutely nothing about it. And Kevin Magnussen is now chasing down Fernando Alonso for 10th position. The Haas team have a very good race pace here. And yeah, really struggling. Well, Nico Hulkenberg's really struggling, of course, but
hugely consequential.
yeah, we'll wait and see what Kevin Magnussen can do. He's going to chase down Fernando Alonso. Alonso hasn't got DRS on oh, in fact, he's just got DRS here off Alex Albon. That's going to help him out a little bit. Albon having a pretty good race so far. Oh, we've got the Mercedes crew bringing out a front wing. George Russell's coming in for an early pit stop here. He's going to try and undercut the Mercedes team, and yeah, all right, wow. So you know, he's going to try and undercut the Red Bull team, sorry. But George Russell, he's got his damaged front wing. He has to come into the pits now to get it replaced soon enough, and that is that.
As well, around the outside at this turn, it was a lovely move from K-Mag, who's now up into the top 10. And for Russell, it's a compound issue really, damaging the front wing. Because on a day
overtake
like this,
Perez Russell. Well, yeah, Perez dives into. I'm sorry, Russell dives into the pits though. They've replaced the front wing, changed his tyres. He's on another set. He's on a set of hard tyres. A 10-second pit stop for George Russell really has compromised his race. All right, let's wait and see though. What can he do once he comes out of the pits? He's going to have a lot of clean air ahead of him, so he's going to just, you know, foot flat to the floor, maximum attack for George Russell, and that is, you know, that's the aim of the game for now. He's going to try and undercut Sergio Perez and Max Verstappen. He's going to have the fresher hard tyres, so that might work out for him, but only time will tell. Well, his lap times will tell. That's what's going to happen. So yeah, an early pit stop for him, but the other drivers will be pitting in around 4, 5 or 6 laps time. Yeah, right, I'm going to have a quick sip of water, and yeah, I'll be back in 20 seconds. But lap number 12 of 50, lap number 13 of 53, sorry, and we've got Piastri in first position, 2 seconds ahead of Charles.
Last couple of races, he seems to be turning the page on it, and he's 1.6 seconds away from his teammate. That is George Russell, looking at the back of Fernando Alonso, who has jumped into 15th position, but on the hard tyre, and Russell is having a tough old day of it. Of course, he lost longer than the normal stop time, changing the front wing.
So they've got a long way to go on that hard tyre. That may be a 2-stop for those guys. Everyone else is heading towards a 1-stopper by continuing to circulate. And look at the gap now, Piastri to Leclerc, 2.5 seconds, on board here with Lando Norris. And for a minute, I wasn't sure if he was diving into the pits. It would have surprised me, because he's homing in on second place. He's got DRS. Yeah,
it's interesting that he's choosing to take that shorter line and coming out of a little bit the slipstream. And again, even in the braking phase down into the first corner, taking a slightly unusual line. Is that a cooling issue? They're not quite getting
yeah, Russell, of course, he had his 10-second pit stop because he was changing his front wing. So yeah, George Russell, he was in where was he? He was in 8th position when he came into the pits, but because of his pit stop and because they had to replace his front wing, he is down into he's down in a net 11th position, so he loses 3 places. Ooh, I just thought Lando Norris was going to dive into the pits there, but apparently not. It would have been interesting to come into the pits so early in the race, but those medium tyres are going to be feeling the heat. Oh my god, look at this, Lando Norris now, he's got DRS on Charles Leclerc, and Leclerc, he was within 1 second of Piastri, but the issue with being 1 second behind another driver, your rear tyres and front tyres massively start to overheat. Leclerc, I think, also made a mistake. Oh no, Norris made a mistake, in fact. But he's still within DRS range of Charles Leclerc, and yeah, Charles Leclerc's tyres now, they are going to be feeling the heat, and now instead of directing his attention forward trying to overtake Oscar Piastri, he's got to direct his attention behind him and try to keep Lando Norris behind. Norris has got DRS, he is going to be gaining on Charles Leclerc, so let's wait and see what will happen. The McLarens have managed to keep their tyres in reasonably good conditions, so Norris has got a fairly decent chance of overtaking Charles Leclerc. Here they go down the back straight now towards Parabolica. Lando Norris is gaining every single metre they drive, and they go into Parabolica, both cars as stable as ever. Norris comes over the radio. What does he say? He did. That's a 5-second time penalty coming to Lando Norris. We're going to have to keep an eye eye on that from the FIA. But Norris dives into the pits after the radio message from his team saying box to overtake. All right.
And he touched the marker.
Here we go. Piastri's coming over the radio saying understeer is getting worse as the tyres get older and older. The understeer gets gets stronger and stronger, and yeah, they're going to have to drive around that for the current part of this race.
Let's do some good laps.
Look at how he did it.
Yeah.
Okie dokes. Here comes Lando Norris. What can he do? Can he get ahead of Esteban Ocon going into the second chicane? Yes, he can. Nice overtake there. Ocon didn't fight it too much. He knows this is not his battle to fight. All right. 29,000 people tuned into live stream, folks. If you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. If you have not subscribed, be sure to do that as well. Hopefully, we can hit 95k.
Lewis Hamilton hitting his marks at the moment. The Red Bulls released up to third and fourth on that hard tyre that will go longer. Oscar Piastri remains the race leader. Where is Charles Leclerc? Where is Lando Norris? On the left-hand side, you're on board with Lando Norris, and then we will get the picture of where he is relative to this man, and he's powering through. He's getting ahead.
First couple of laps in a Formula 1 Grand Prix for Franco Colapinto. We've got Charles Leclerc into the pits now. Leclerc into the pits. Ferrari reacting to what Lando Norris did. He comes out on a set of hard tyres. Leclerc comes into the pits. So does Lewis Hamilton. And it's a 2.5 second stop for Leclerc, a 2.3 second stop for Lewis Hamilton. And will Leclerc come out ahead of Lando Norris? I don't think he will.
No sign of the
Nope, Leclerc loses that position. Well, actually, he never had that position in the first place. He manages to stay out ahead of Esteban Ocon. And Charles Leclerc, he's now got fresh tyres to try and chase down Lando Norris. Oh no, Leclerc was in second, and he's lost that. They undercut Lando Norris. The undercut worked for them, and Norris is now up into a net second place. Wow, I totally missed that, but the undercut has just worked for Lando Norris. It worked for him last year to overtake his teammate. It's worked for him this year, and Charles Leclerc has been overtaken by Lando. What a turn of events. Ferrari at their home race, messing up the strategy. Can you get more Ferrari than that? I don't think so. All right, Charles. Oscar Piastri's got to come into the pits very, very soon. In fact, if he doesn't come into the pits, then he could have a penalty coming. Well, he's not going to have a penalty. Oh, the data is just lagging there. There we go. Oscar Piastri's into the pits. Yeah, all right. He could get undercut by Charles Leclerc here. There's a serious chance. He could get undercut by his teammate as well. I don't know why they do this. Why do they give Lando Norris priority when Piastri's in the lead of this race? Is Piastri going to come out in first place? Is he going to be stuck behind his teammate Lando Norris? Let's wait and see. He comes out of the pits. He heads towards turn number 1. Lando Norris is a good chunk behind him, and Piastri maintains the lead of this race. Or maintains the net lead of this race. Carlos Sainz going for a long stint here, and of course
What was that?
The Red Bulls on the hard tyres, they're going to be going much, much longer. Oh, Charles Leclerc, as she said, what was that? Why did we pit if we were going to get undercut? Leclerc angry with his team over the radio, and I mean, you can't blame him, can you? What they had to do was they had to go long and then try and overcut Lando Norris when, Lando Norris had done around 5 laps on his hard tyres, 5-6 laps. That's when they start to wear out a bit, and Leclerc would have come out on a fresh set, and that would have helped him out. But no, they did not do that, and Ferrari have messed up the race strategy once again. It's not looking good, and Norris in fact has gained on Oscar Piastri here. The gap is 1.6 seconds. Previously, before the pit stops, it was over 3 seconds. So Norris is going to try and get ahead of Oscar Piastri once again. This is going to be a fantastic battle. We may see team orders coming out like we did at Hungary. Orfen 1989, like last week, looking at Red Bull's chances now. Let me just read that message. This chat goes so quickly.
Lando, it's likely we
Norris
will
has
have to
chances,
cover
so yes, Norris will get priority. Maybe he will. That probably explains it. But
Red Bull continue to run very close together on the racetrack. Only 1.9 seconds between Verstappen and Perez. Daniel Ricciardo has a penalty for failing to serve his time penalty correctly at the pit stop. A penalty for not serving the penalty correctly. It's going to be one of those days for RB.
Yeah, that's just an operational situation when you come in for the stop. The pit crew should not touch the car for the full 5 seconds. And is it because of that?
Yeah, front wing.
Front wing was touched. It may seem harsh, but rules are rules. Watch the, yeah. It's a harsh one, isn't it? Because quite clearly that hasn't assisted anything. He's realised the error of his ways.
But for that, Ricciardo's day is basically over. That's how much that makes a difference there for Ricciardo.
It reminds me of my mother saying, "Don't touch the cookies." Don't touch the front wing.
Fastest lap after fastest lap after fastest lap there. First Piastri, then Norris, then Charles Leclerc, who wasn't amused with the strategy that he got. He's trying to close up once again. Now the pace fell away. We know the McLaren is kind on its tyres, really kind on its tyres. On the medium, the pace fell away first for the Ferrari, and they went to the fresh rubber earlier on. Piastri is now directly behind, Norris is directly behind Oscar Piastri. So that conversation that we were talking about 9 laps ago,
little bit extra pace that Oscar that the Ferraris don't, and yeah, Charles Leclerc is stuck in DRS and unable to get past. All right, very, very unfortunate there for Daniel Ricciardo. Also, folks, I hope you guys aren't getting any adverts. I've been trying my best to block adverts from YouTube, so you know, you guys don't get adverts halfway through a stream. Like, imagine someone's about to make an overtake and then you get an advert about, you know, car insurance. Like, why would you want that? So if you do get an advert, let me know, but I've been trying to block them as much as possible. Sonoda retired for too much damage. He had a collision with Nico Hülkenberg and too much damage from him. We've got a replay of Max Verstappen going through Les Mode 2. Up onto the gravel he goes. A little bit of a twitch there, pushing the car a bit too hard, and yeah, Landa, and he stays on the circuit, but those hard tyres, they are starting to feel the wear now, and we've got Carlos Sainz into the pits. He'll come out, I think, behind Charles Leclerc. It's not worked out well for him. A quick pit stop nonetheless for a set of hard tyres, 2.4 seconds, and he comes out of the pits. He'll be behind Charles Leclerc. All right.
Here as well, on the run down to the second chicane.
Yeah, Hamilton's going to make his way by. Ocon yet to stop.
So here we go then. Does Sainz make it out ahead of Lewis Hamilton? That is going to be the question. Yes, he is. Sainz is out ahead of Lewis Hamilton. The margins are very, very close, but Esteban Ocon holds them apart. Ocon is the deciding factor, the fact that Sainz hasn't just got overtaken here. Ocon was holding Lewis Hamilton back on the previous lap, and Hamilton now on the tail of Carlos Sainz. So let's wait and see what he can do. George Russell, he's got his damage repaired now, and yeah, we'll see if he can make some progress through the field. He's still got to overtake Bottas and Ocon before he makes his way to his teammate, and the gap is quite significant. All right.
And Red Bull
is on the hard tyres. They are not 1-2. They are on the hard tyres. Once they do come into the pits, we will see them drop down the pack. Maybe they'll be going extremely long. Maybe they'll try a one-stop strategy. Track temperature is currently 46 degrees. It's dropped about 10 degrees since the start of the race. But I still don't know if that will be enough for the drivers to pull off a one-stop strategy. Here comes Lewis Hamilton. Carlos Sainz is in 6th position. It is his birthday, and let's wait and see. They've come over the radio to Max Verstappen saying you can pick up the pace. Let's wait and see. Verstappen's previous lap a 1:25.5. Charles Leclerc's fastest lap a 1:23.8. 2 seconds between those two drivers, and their fastest lap. So yeah, Verstappen's really got to pick up the pace there. Carlos Sainz under pressure here from Lewis Hamilton. He's got DRS as well, and we have got a battle brewing. And George Russell gets the overtake done on Valtteri Bottas, a fairly easy overtake for George, and he's now up into 10th position, or 9th position, sorry. But he's still got a 9-second gap to close up to Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton now makes his way through the second chicane. He's still on the tail of Carlos Sainz.
This is Kevin Magnussen.
And Norris, in fact, not able to catch up to Oscar Piastri. The gap only 1.6 seconds there, and he's been unable to close that up. All of the drivers are pushing extremely hard every single lap. They're going all the way to the limits of the curbs. So is Hamilton, so is Piastri, so is Sainz. Everyone pushing the car as hard as it will go, and the race strategy could be the deciding factor for this Grand Prix. K-Mag has been given has been noted for causing a collision. He locked up going into the second chicane, had contact with one of Pierre Gasly, unfortunately. But yeah, the second time in today's race that we've seen the Haas lock up and crash into someone else. Nico Hülkenberg did it and got Yuki Tsunoda DNF'd, and now we've seen Kevin Magnussen do it. Honestly, Kevin Magnussen, why don't you go ahead and do that? If you could bring a safety car out, that would be spectacular. I think the Red Bull team would absolutely love you if you brought the safety car out. But yeah, no safety car in the previous 6 races, and still we haven't had a safety car. We're approaching the halfway point of this Grand Prix. We've got Alonso overtaking Valtteri Bottas. Bottas has gone quite long on his set of hard tyres, but he's starting to feel the pain now. Those hard tyres coming to the end of their life. Orphan 1989, thank you for the €6 donation. Red Bull waiting for a safety car, but they forgot Williams who replaced Logan Sargent. That is, yeah, very, very funny, isn't it? Yeah, once again, thank you for the second donation. Really are helping out the channel. Alright, so yeah, what a turn of events this has been. We've got Piastri in the lead of this race. Lando Norris with the fastest lap. He's trying to chase down his teammate, but he just cannot close that gap. And Piastri now, he's approaching the back of Perez. Oh, we've got one of the Red Bulls into the pits. Who's that? Max Verstappen dives into the pit lane, and the first of the Red Bull drivers to come into the pits. 23 laps of this race, 30 laps remaining. He puts on another set of hard tyres. Red Bull are it's a slow pit stop. A slow pit stop for Red Bull, and it's 6.2 second pit stop. All the hard work that Max Verstappen put in, that has just gone right out of the window. And he comes out on a set of hard tyres, so it's a confirmed 2-stop strategy for the Red Bull team. But yeah, they've had a very slow pit stop there for Max Verstappen. Ooh, he would have come out ahead of Sainz, I think, if the pit stop wasn't slow. Where would he? Oh no, he would have come out ahead of, right on the tail of Hamilton, actually, right between Hamilton and Sainz. But because of that slow pit stop, he's now got 4 seconds to catch up to Sainz and Hamilton. Very, very unfortunate there. We've got 34,000 people tuning into live stream, folks. If you are enjoying the coverage, hitting the like button would be very much appreciated. It massively helps out the channel. Alright. I'd just like to say a thank you to the Code Monster, Tomaha46, Stefan Levenk. I think I said that right, hopefully.
Yeah, exactly. He's practiced by now this weekend though, isn't he?
Good point.
Yeah, he, across the practice sessions, across the qualifying hour, has been leaving one hand off the steering wheel in frustration, not with the turn and poise of previous years' Red Bulls, and they have found themselves caught for race pace by McLaren.
So how do we do this then?
We just get on with it now, Max.
So just run the tyre as hard as he wants, and then they'll make a call as to when it runs out of rubber.
So how do we do this then?
Again, he must. So must Perez. They've both gone hard to hard. So at this stage, flat out, just thrash it. You'll put on a medium and then thrash it again to the end. There's no more time management for Red Bull. Just extract whatever pace you can and go aggressive.
It's lap 24 of 53. You had to get to around lap... how far did you have to get? Lap 27. Before your window for the one stop if you started on the hard. It was conceivable, that medium tyre. And this isn't a circuit in the past known for degradation, but the new surface has changed things. The high temperatures have changed things. Kevin Magnussen, his own cameo in this Grand Prix. We're back on board with him, 13th place, and this time he fights his way by into the Parabolica. You don't see that very often. He gets by in the Haas, clearing Pierre Gasly. There was a 4-lap tyre offset. He's on 4-lap fresher tyres than the Frenchman, and this is going to
round of pit stops. Piastri with the fastest lap of the race. He's looking to build that gap. Hopefully he can get this win at Monza, and get this fair and square without any team orders situations like they had at Hungary. K-Mag looks to overtake Pierre Gasly into Parabolica. Nicely done. We haven't seen an overtake there this race yet, and K-Mag's the first one to do it into Parabolica. Update on potential rain. Yeah, there was never any potential rain. Yeah, no chance of rain there. I don't know what the FAA were talking about and where they were getting their weather radar, but no chance of rain whatsoever. A 10-second penalty has been given to Kevin Magnussen for causing a collision. That was between the incident of him and Pierre Gasly. He's just overtaken Gasly, but now he's got a 10-second time penalty. Not ideal there. Albon has just overtaken Valtteri Bottas, putting himself up into 11th position. Bottas losing places shortly. The best pit stop strategy, probably start the race on mediums, then go on to a set of hards, and then go on to another set of hards. Oh, brilliant. We have hit 5,000 likes. That is fantastic. I guess we go up to, what should I say, 7,000, why not? Very much do appreciate all the support, folks. Hope you are enjoying the race. Yeah, alright. Piastri, though, he's holding a 1.9 second gap over Lando Norris. Honestly, a safety car right now would excite things so much. Hamilton trying to overtake Carlos Sainz, but he's too far back, and the gap is over 1 second. He was closer to Sainz previously, but he's not been able to hold on to him. The Ferrari does look slightly quicker than the Mercs in race trim, so yeah, it's looking good for the Ferraris. And I would once again like to take a moment to talk about the World Drivers' Championship. I think the World Constructors' Championship is firmly out of Red Bull's hands now. There is no way they are winning that. I think by if the race finishes in the current positions as of now, in the current positions that they are on the circuit right now, then Red Bull will be like 2 or 3 points behind. McLaren will be 2 or 3 points behind Red Bull, so there's no chance that Red Bull win the constructors. The drivers, that is really up for debate here. Ooh, Dengen Driver, thank you for the $2 donation. Mash that like button. Thank you very much for pointing that out. And yeah, Max may be cooked, as many of you are saying in the chat. I don't know what's gone on there, but the Red Bull have just speedrun from the most dominant car in Formula 1 history, right? They won 10 races in a row, and now they are fourth fastest team. They're the fourth fastest team. Like, how is that happening? In the space of 1 year, they have lost so much performance. Ooh, look at this. Oscar Piastri, he's in the lead of this race. He's 2 seconds ahead of Lando Norris, and he is still lifting and coasting. Piastri pulling off, a very good race strategy here. He's still got an advantage over Norris, and he's lifting and coasting going into the first corner. Let's see what he does into the second chicane. Oh, they've just cut away from the telemetry, but I have a feeling Piastri is lifting and coasting to save fuel a little bit, just in case there's a safety car, so they can turn up the engine mode. Alright, we've got one of the Aston Martins. Who is that? Fernando Alonso gets ahead of Esteban Ocon. The car is sparking. There's a orange dot underneath Fernando Alonso's car. I don't know what that is. Okay, sorry. Thank you for the €2 donation, €2.49. W stream. Well, that is very much appreciated.
Outside our top 10, and Colapinto is only 9 seconds behind Albon. And I think that's a pretty solid, given where he starts.
If you guys are interested in getting F1 TV, the little advert that's playing in the top right, there is a link in the description. It gives me a bit of
lap time wise as well, so pretty solid debut, although not showing any signs of getting points.
Albon is in a net 10th place at the moment because Ocon still has to pit, and Albon pitted later than most around him. This was very generous, wasn't it, from Gasly to cut the chicane, give the place straight up, not even trying to fight it out on the radio.
At no point was Ricciardo ahead, tried the switchback dive bomb move, and he pulled off so many times when he was with Red Bull.
So it's all right.
Weekend.
Here we go then. Daniel Ricciardo going into the second chicane caused an enormous lockup for Gasly, and forced that mistake from him, and Gasly gave the position to Ricciardo. He knew the FIA would not have any of it, and he'd get a 5-second penalty if he didn't do that. So yeah, all right. Here we go then, folks. We are past the halfway point of this race, and we have got Oscar Piastri in the lead. 2.5 seconds is the gap, though, and he's got the fastest lap of the race. Another fastest lap of the race. Oh, we've got another member on Patreon. Who is that? Andrew Eastwood. Thank you for supporting me on Patreon. Oh, and Gregory Big. Thank you for the donation as well. Wow, folks, thank you so much for all the support. And honestly, we've got nearly 95,000 of you, and as Lewis Hamilton would say, I'm hashtag blessed.
To just take the race lead. You'd have thought they might orchestrate that from the front row lockout, but there was obviously nothing in plan there. They went wheel to wheel. Piastri pulled off a beauty of a move, and
play cat and mouse here, Lando Norris. This is so similar to what we saw in 2021, where Verstappen and Hamilton, they would just give fastest laps taken, a give and take every single lap. But now this time we've got Piastri and Norris doing it.
Do not crash with your teammate. It's a fairly obvious statement, but you're allowed to just let the first lap unfold. And that's where Piastri,
2.2 seconds is the gap up at the front, and Charles Leclerc is holding Lando Norris very, very honest. And the issue for Lando Norris now is if he tries to overtake Oscar Piastri, which he is doing his absolute, full well, he's trying to overtake him. Any sort of overtake opportunity that he has, Charles Leclerc is going to be right there, right in his mirrors. So, yeah. Have you shouted out your patrons? Yes, I have. Oh yeah, if you do join the Patreon, you get a couple of extra bonuses, like access to a Discord server that's for members and mods and stuff like that.
And even I think it was too much.
So yeah, if you are interested, then go ahead and check that out.
We'll debate this as long as the McLarens are 1 and 2.
We're on now lap number 29 of 53. The hard tyres are still going very strong there for Esteban Ocon and Valtteri Bottas. Both drivers have done 29 laps on them. So
both the Red Bulls,
yeah, maybe Piastri, Norris, Leclerc, Sainz, they could all pull off a one-stop if they push the car all the way to the limit. I think Sainz definitely, because if you have a look at that, Sainz has done 19 laps on the medium tyres. He could probably push the hards all the way to the end of this race. Piastri, Norris and Leclerc, though, it's going to be much tighter, and we could have a two-stop where they're trying to chase down Carlos Sainz, who has the net lead of this race. It's going to be very exciting. But Verstappen and Perez, they've kind of shot themselves in the foot there. They don't have any opportunity to go to the end of this race. They have to go in for another pit stop to put on a set of medium tyres.
Good couple of days in Italy in his career this year. Won the sprint race in Formula 2 in Imola and makes his Grand Prix.
Franco Colapinto here going to make an overtake here on Pierre Gasly. Gasly is losing time, and Colapinto moves to the right hand side, slams on the brakes at the 100-meter mark, and he gets ahead of Pierre Gasly. Brilliant overtake for the rookie driver, first race in Formula 1, and he's got an overtake done on Pierre Gasly. Fantastic job there. The Williams is brilliant in a straight line. Colapinto using that to his advantage, and now Gasly's got Stroll in his mirrors. Franco Colapinto done a fantastic job so far this weekend.
So you need to go to drive
much better than Kimi Antonelli, but even though Kimi Antonelli has been signed for 2025. Alright, we may have a couple of drivers getting lapped here. Guan Yu Zhou, Valtteri, Nico Hulkenberg might be getting lapped soon enough. 23 laps remain of this Monza Grand Prix, and the gap up at the front, 3 seconds now. Piastri is pulling away from Norris, and Leclerc is still on Norris's tail. Now they've come over the radio to Norris, saying Norris is starting to struggle. This is when Red Bull started graining, and they're essentially just saying now is the time to attack. We've got George Russell trying to get ahead of Sergio Perez. Perez having none of it. Russell goes over the gravel. Does he keep the position? Does he give it back to Sergio Perez? I don't know. He gives the position back to Sergio Perez, but what an overtake there. What an overtaking opportunity for George Russell. And Perez takes the inside line. Russell forced to go around the outside, and he's not going to be happy about that whatsoever.
Too far back, I think, at this point.
Alright, Russell still manages to stay on the back of... Oh, look at that. Leclerc has got DRS on Norris. Norris is starting to struggle. If we look at his front left tyre, there are lines forming. The front left is graining there for Norris. His tyre management not up to par this weekend. Maybe it's a setup, maybe it's his skills. But whatever it is, he's got Charles Leclerc in his mirrors. Alright, 2 battles here. Battle for second place and a battle for 7th place. Oscar Piastri, Norris versus Leclerc and Perez versus Russell. On this occasion, Leclerc a little bit too far back, but the car looks stable for Leclerc. However, for Norris, the front left tyre does not look good. A lap time deleted from Norris, in fact, exceeding track limits at turn number 4. I think he cut the corner, and Leclerc caught up quite a bit there. I think Lando locked up going into the second chicane. That's why he got a lap time deleted. Yeah, we've just got the replay here. He's going through Curva Grande, and he makes his way under the bridge, hits the brakes, and misses the braking zone completely. Has to go wide, go around the bollard, and loses time, and Charles Leclerc is right there on him now.
Into
All
the
right,
pits. Here he comes.
and Russell,
Lando
what can he do?
Norris.
Can he get past
Less drama this
Sergio
time.
Perez
Really
on
scrubs
that
off
on the
speed,
second time of
forced
asking?
to come
No,
in
he cannot.
for the
George
rubber
Russell
again,
have
so it
finding
is a
it pretty
two-stopper.
difficult here.
Unlike
Sergio Perez
previous
going to
years,
the
he will
limit
get the rubber
and beyond.
first. Lando Norris being held for a moment there,
Yeah,
3.3
Perez
seconds.
is a little bit
Max
confused here.
Verstappen
Perez
pushing
came
on.
over the radio saying, "Oh, he
And
gives me the
Verstappen
position,"
at
and then he
high
starts
speed,
racing me.
clearing
Essentially,
the
what
pit
George
straight
Russell was trying to do is trying to be a
before
little
Lando Norris
sneaky here.
can
So
get
what
there.
happened
Through
at the
goes
first
the leader
chicane?
of the
He
World
cut the corner
Championship.
because he didn't slow down
Lando
enough, or there
Norris
wasn't enough
drops
space on the
behind
circuit.
Max Verstappen on
And
the
then he
racetrack.
gave the position back going through turn number 3,
So,
and then
Piastri
immediately
leads
going into
5
turn number 4, he
seconds
tried to
now clear of
overtake.
Leclerc.
Oh, Norris into the pits.
Can
Norris
Leclerc
first
try and
driver
go to
into the
the
pit
end?
lane. They're
20
once
more
again going to
laps.
pull off an undercut.
Or
If
will he
Leclerc
pit
doesn't
and
start
have frantic
pushing
tyres to go
ASAP,
attack
then
Norris?
Norris is going to
McLaren
undercut
pit
Charles
Piastri
Leclerc.
as
This
well
is key now.
to,
So
to
Leclerc
drop
has
it
got
back,
to
but they've
attack.
got to wait until Leclerc pits
And he
just
might
in
even
case
he might
that,
undercut
Ferrari try
Oscar
and do something.
Piastri. So
We've had to disable some
Piastri is probably going to come into the pits on this lap,
the
and
clips
so
increase.
is Leclerc.
Hopefully we'll get that back for you later.
First sector, he's running
Yeah,
pretty much,
but
well,
McLaren
Gasly
are
up
at risk
ahead,
of doing this
but,
all
that
over
would
again.
suggest that he's
They
not
may
trying to
even
manage those
undercut.
tyres. The next couple laps will give us an
They may
indication as to
undercut
whether they are going to try and kick it out,
themselves, and they may have to go over the radio to Lando Norris, say, give the position back to Oscar Piastri. If this is Hungary all over again, I do not want that. I mean, it was kind of exciting in Hungary, but we don't want that all over again, and McLaren really need to learn from their mistakes. Oh, folks, we're 20 subscribers away from 95k. If you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. And if you haven't subscribed, obviously, then hopefully we can get 100k, maybe 96k. That might be a bit of a tall order, but let's wait and see.
Right now, looking ahead, 3 seconds up the road and seeing Max Verstappen.
All
Now, Max
right,
has to pit. They're not
Dirk
in a
has become a
direct
supporter.
fight,
Thanks for
but I
making the
wouldn't
race so
still like the
entertaining.
prospect
Appreciate
of
it,
trying
Dirk.
to
Thank
pass
you
him on
for
track
supporting the
and
channel. Oh no, Norris over the radio saying, I don't know why I'm killing my front left tyre so much. He doesn't even know what mistake he's making. So they're gonna tell him go slowly through Parabolica or something like that. But no, nothing for Lando Norris. He's got to sort out the issue himself. He's got 21 laps to do on this set of hard tyres. Piastri and Leclerc. Is Leclerc going to try to go to the end of this race? I don't know. I think he's been pushing too hard on these tyres to try and go all the way to the end. Yeah, Russell comes into the pits as well. Russell was trying to overtake Perez, but he knew that wasn't going to happen. So straight into the pits he went. And yeah, interesting. All right.
So Magnussen still has
4.2 second pit stop for Lando Norris, a little bit slow there, but nonetheless fairly quick. Well, no, actually it's fairly slower, and he may end up losing out to Sergio Perez because of that.
What's he going to do?
Look at that, Lando Norris purple in the first sector. I think this lap is going to be the fastest lap. He's right behind Max Verstappen as well. We'll see what Verstappen do. Does Verstappen make Norris's hard absolutely horrible? Does not Verstappen make Norris's life very difficult for him to try and get that overtake done? We'll wait and see. Is anyone coming into the pits? No, they're not. Piastri stays out. Leclerc stays out. If they keep doing this, if Piastri doesn't come into the pits, Lando Norris will undercut Oscar Piastri, and they will have Hungary all over again. Like, this is not a joke, because Lando Norris, he set a fastest first sector. He goes slower than his personal best in the middle sector because he has no DRS. But that's going to be a quick lap from Lando Norris. Yeah, a fastest lap of the race, a 122.8. Piastri, a 123.4. Sorry, in his previous lap. And that gap is going to disappear all too quickly, and Piastri may lose this race lead. Oh no. Alright, I'm going to have a quick sip of water. I've been talking non-stop and my throat's going to start hurting soon. But yeah, thank you everyone that has hit the like button. Thank you everyone that has subscribed. It very much does help out the channel. Alright, Lando, this is the thing. Does Lando need to be prioritised? Lando could be going for the World Drivers' Championship. Have they explicitly said that to Piastri? Oh, you will be prioritised, Lando Norris will be prioritised over you because he's competing for the World Drivers' Championship. I don't know. Yeah. The gap, it's up for debate now. If Max Verstappen DNFs in this race and Lando Norris goes on to win, then it's quite certain that there will be a championship battle. But if Lando Norris DNFs and Verstappen scores maybe a podium, then it's quite certain that there won't be a championship battle. It all comes down to one single potential DNF, one bad race, and everything could turn around. So I don't know. Perez gets called into the pits box for Sergio Perez. He'll be coming in on this lap.
We've seen Magnussen do this countless times this year. In Zandvoort, he managed to block Alex Albon to the tune of 4 seconds in one lap, for example. Now that's extreme, but it's possible. And it's not easy to overtake here.
This is exciting then. Piastri, he's got a bit of traffic ahead of him. He's going to get DRS off the traffic, which is far good enough. What if both of them DNF? Then, of course, it gets closer and closer. With less races and less points available, then it's quite unlikely that they'll win. Oh, they've just come over the radio to Oscar Piastri saying Plan B. I don't know what Plan B is, but maybe that is to go to the end of the race on these set of tyres. He's got 18 laps left to go. If we look at both Bottas could pull off 34 laps on his first set of hard tyres. Esteban Ocon could pull off 31 laps. So the most laps anyone has done on a set of hard tyres is Valtteri Bottas. He did 34 laps.
Yes,
Piastri's
please.
done 20 laps. He's got 17 left to go, so we'd have to extend that to 37 laps.
Yes, please.
It's possible, but it's risky. The front left tyre could, it could essentially explode. You could get a puncture on the front left tyre if you're not careful through Parabolica. It's a very high-load corner, and they're going to have to be careful if they go for a one-stop for Oscar Piastri. Plan B won't be switched to the mediums. Piastri only had one set of mediums at the start of this race. They only had one set of mediums and 2 sets of hards. So it's either go to the end of the race or come in for another set of hard tyres. Right. Why did Lando come into the pits? Because his front left tyre was absolutely dead. That's why he came into the pit lane. He's got to chase down Verstappen. He's got to chase down Hamilton. So let's wait and see what Verstappen will do. Will Verstappen make his life very, very difficult and not let him past? It's critical. Verstappen is fighting in the championship. He's got to hold back Lando Norris as much as possible. Say next race Verstappen gets a DNF, then the championship is really up in the air. And he's got to do his absolute best at this current moment in time to not lose any points to Lando Norris. So we'll see. We'll see what Verstappen can do. I'm sure he will use all of his battery because he probably can and still get away with it. He's got a pretty decent gap behind him to Kevin Magnussen, 26 seconds. So yeah, let's see. Track temperature is 45 degrees, so tyre wear is very high. Still making those hard tyres last all the way to the end of the race could be a tall order. Didn't Kimi race instead of Hamilton? No, Kimi has been signed for next year. He took part in FP1, but that's it.
One thing expression we haven't used.
Oh no, they've come over the radio to Piastri. I said I don't think so. The front left is pretty dead, so they don't think they can go to the end of this race on those tyres. And if Piastri comes into the pits now, he might come out behind Norris. Hamilton comes out of the pits, he comes out behind Norris, and the gap between Verstappen and Norris is 1 second. Alright, here we go. We have got an exciting race on our hands. Lando Norris versus Max Verstappen. These are the 2 championship drivers, but they're driving in 4th and 5th position, not in 1st and 2nd.
And he's up to 8th.
Who is that? That is Sergio Perez squeezing George Russell all the way to the grass, and Russell still manages to get the overtake done. Perez is going to have the slipstream going towards turn number 2. Let's see, Perez on the outside line, Russell on the inside line. Who's got the better car? Who's better in a straight line? It is Sergio Perez going into the second chicane. Russell brakes a lot later, and he holds on to that 2nd place. 8th position for George Russell, 9th position for Sergio Perez. Is that a slow pit stop for Piastri? Oh no, wait, let's see, what is the pit stop time for Piastri? I don't think that was a quick pit stop. Oh no, wait, let's see. So he comes out of the pits now. Where is Lando Norris? Will he be able to hold on to that lead? Yes, he will. Narrowly, but yes, Lando Norris is in 2nd position and Piastri is in 1st. So close. Is McLaren torpedoing Piastri's win for the championship? I don't know. But but it looked like a slow pit stop, but Piastri managed to stay out ahead either nonetheless. So yeah, a good job there from Oscar Piastri. A consistent, you know, very consistent laps all weekend long, and this race so far, 39 laps. He has you know, been in the net leader this race, and he's been doing a fantastic job.
It's a huge risk because they've just handed Ferrari right now.
Max Verstappen holding Lando Norris back here, and I don't think he's going to make his life very easy whatsoever. So let's wait and see. Lando Norris, he's got DRS as they go towards Ascari. He opens the DRS flap. He's gaining on Max Verstappen, but he's too far back for now.
Lando Norris trying for the first time in this Grand Prix to get past Max
15 laps remain of this race, folks. Hope you guys are enjoying the coverage, and if you could hit the like button, that'd be fantastic. And if you haven't subscribed as well, maybe 95,500 subscribers, maybe even 96. But yeah, go ahead and subscribe. Massively helps out the channel.
21 seconds away from Charles Leclerc.
Yeah, what happened to Yuki? Yuki had damage from a crash with Nico Hulkenberg and had to retire from this race.
About whether Ferrari's performance on the hard tyre will hold.
Max Verstappen defending against Lando Norris very harshly there. Takes the inside line quite early, and there is nothing that Lando Norris could do. Now they go towards turn number 2. Lando Norris is shifting up through the gears towards the second chicane, but yeah, there he's too far back to get an overtake done so far. And Verstappen still going defensive, taking very defensive lines here. I think he's almost trying to slow down Lando Norris and make sure that he can't stall a win, because that is 8 more points. If Norris goes on to win this race, then that's 8 more points. So Verstappen's basically saying, oh mate, I'm going to slow you down as much as I can, because there's no chance you're winning this race. I don't care who wins, but you're not winning for sure. I think that's what Max's mentality is. Yeah, GP told Max to defend, and once again going into Ascari, he plays a little game, darts to the left hand side, but comes back onto the racing line.
Norris going for it.
And let's get F1 games to 100k, so we can get 100k plaque. Yeah, that'd be nice. But you know, we'll see. I think 100k will come as long as the commentary is good and the races are as fantastic as this one. Then I think 100k will come soon enough.
But Lando Norris was on pole position. Lando Norris was dreaming of 25
we have got Oscar Piastri. Look at that, fastest lap of the race, 4 seconds ahead, and Norris is gaining. He pulls out to the left-hand side, and what can Max?
So they realise they've got to get on with it.
Verstappen pushes Norris all the way to the limit here, and Norris has managed to squeeze past, but Verstappen is going to deploy the overtake button. He's going to go as much energy as possible, and going through Curva Grande now, he is a little bit too far back, and Lando Norris, he's also deploying the battery, and there is nothing that Max Verstappen can do. The DRS assistant was too powerful for Lando Norris, and it is a sealed and dealed second position once the Ferrari comes into the pits. If the Ferrari comes into the pits, they do not have to come into the pits. They have had their 2 sets of tyre compounds. So 13 laps remain of this race, and the Ferraris look like they're staying out. I don't think they're coming into the pits. They've got Piastri's got a 5-second gap to Sainz and a 15-second gap to Leclerc. So McLaren, they've gone for a 2-stop strategy. They have the fresher tyres, but the question is, can they catch up? Do they have enough time? Sainz is going to be told over the radio, he's going to tell, you have to defend with absolutely everything that you've got, so Leclerc can go on to win this race. Wow, we've got 42,000 people watching the live stream. That is fantastic. Thank you everyone for tuning in, by the way. Very much is appreciated. Hope you guys are enjoying. And we could have the 2 Ferraris get a 1-2. It's going to be difficult for a 1-2, maybe a 1-3, but it was looking like Piastri was going to win this race. The Ferraris, I think what they're going to do, they're just going to stay out. There's no need for them to come into the pits. If they come into the pits, it's a confirmed 3-4. There's no chance that they're going to do that. They are going to stay out, and we are going to have a battle all the way to the end. Just, you know, you cannot get any better than this. Here we go then. Let's have a look at these lap times. Oscar Piastri a 1:22.0, and we've got Carlos Sainz a 1:23.3, 1.3 seconds faster on the previous lap is Oscar Piastri. Piastri is an absolute rocket ship, but he's only got 12 laps to go. What have McLaren done? Is this going to be a Ferrari 1-2? Is it going to be a Ferrari 1-3? I mean, it would be spectacular for Ferrari to win at their home race. Charles Leclerc has already done it in 2019. That time they had the Mercedes chasing them down. This time they've got the Mercedes-powered McLaren chasing them down. And honestly, it's not looking that good for Piastri. Look at that gap. 15 seconds he's got to close up in 11 laps. Even if his tyres stay... we've got someone that's just donated. Let me have a look. Folks, do you think, is it going to be a Ferrari 1-2? Oh, Dengen Diver, once again, thank you for the $2 donation. Very much is appreciated. But this race has suddenly just turned into so much more excitement. We could have a Ferrari 1-2. We could have the McLaren spoil the fun. The gap was 5 seconds. Within the space of 2 minutes, the gap has now gone down to 3 seconds. And Sainz is speeding up. He's got a bit of traffic ahead of him. That's going to help him out. That's in fact a benefit for him. He's going to get DRS off the traffic. Zhou and Gasly are going to give him DRS. So that means Piastri will catch up less. Let's wait and see what will happen. We've got 40,000 people watching the live stream. That's the highest it has ever been, folks. We're making a record-breaking live stream for a record-breaking fantastic race that we've got on our hands for the final 11 laps of the Italian Grand Prix. Here comes Oscar Piastri. Will he be able to overtake Carlos Sainz? Will he be able to chase down Charles Leclerc? Will Leclerc be able to hold on to his hard tyres? They're already 27 laps old. He's going to have to do 37 laps, 38 laps on those hard tyres if he's going to
so that may be the cause.
If he's going to finish the race on them. If we look at the replays, they're not looking great. They look slightly better than Lando Norris's tyres before he came into the pits, but they are not looking in a great state. We've got Lando Norris, he gets ahead of Valtteri Bottas. We've got Oscar Piastri, he gets ahead of Guan Yu Zhou going into the first chicane. Now there is no cars in between himself and Carlos Sainz. The gap is already down to 1.5 seconds. 10 laps remain of this race, and Piastri has closed up a 5-second gap. He's closed that down by 4 seconds in the space of 2 laps. This is going all the way down to the wire, folks, all the way down to the fire. We've got a two-way fight for first position, and we've got 10 laps to go. What more can you want from Formula 1, ladies and gentlemen? Wow. Verstappen with the fastest lap of the race. He comes into the pits, he puts on a set of medium tyres, he's attacking like he's never attacked before. He's got a 13-second gap to Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton's out on hard tyres. They are fresh hard tyres, but nonetheless the mediums are much quicker, and Verstappen is just at a fastest lap of the race. So Verstappen's going to be chasing down Hamilton, and we'll see what he can do. Piastri's already on the back of Carlos Sainz. The gap is 0.7 of a second. Here they go into Parabolica. Will Sainz get DRS off Gasly? That will save him for 1 lap. If Sainz can get DRS off the back marker ahead, which is Pierre Gasly, that is going to help him out enormously. And yes, he does. Carlos Sainz does get DRS off Pierre Gasly, and that saves him for 1 lap. 1 less lap that Oscar Piastri has to chase down Charles Leclerc. All right, a good job there. And Pierre Gasly has just helped out Carlos Sainz, and the Tifosi will be saying a very big thank you to him. All right. Sainz has just come over the radio saying my front left is nearly gone, but I guess we'll try. Sainz knows that if he comes into the pits now, it's a confirmed 3-4. He's got to throw absolutely everything at it. He goes to the inside, looks to the inside, tries to send Piastri, but they make their way through the second sector. 1 less lap, 1 less chance to make an overtake. Piastri is so much quicker in every single part of the circuit. Through Lesmo 1, a right-hander, the front left tyre, it's gone. Through the right-hander of Lesmo 2, the front left tyre, once again, it's gone. Through Parabolica, the front left tyre is gone. So it's going to be very tough for Carlos Sainz to hold on to this lead. And here comes Oscar Piastri towards Ascari. We haven't seen a single overtake here, and Piastri gets the overtake done. Wow, what an overtake into Ascari. We haven't seen a single overtake there all race long, and Piastri's got the overtake done with such ease. 9 laps remain of this race. There are 11 seconds between Oscar Piastri and Charles Leclerc. Folks, we have got a two-way fight for first position here in Monza, a Ferrari versus a McLaren. The last time Ferrari won here was 2019. Let me know who you think is going to win in the chat. But we have got, this is so exciting. All right. I think Sainz is also going to lose the position to Norris. We'll have to see if he can hang on to it, but it does not look like his front left tyres can take much more. And it's even worse condition for Charles Leclerc. Charles Leclerc has done 6 more laps on his hard tyres compared to Carlos Sainz, and Piastri is as quick as ever. One thing that we do, if you are a Ferrari fan, there is one thing on your side, and the thing is there are 8 more laps of this race, and in those 8 laps, Piastri's tyres are going to wear out. They're going to go from 7 laps old to 15 laps old, and in those 8 laps, it's going to be very hard to gain. It's going to be very hard to put in consistently quick laps. You're going to have mistakes start to creep in. You're going to have your tyres start to overheat, and yeah, it's going to be an uphill battle for Piastri now. 11 seconds is the gap between himself and Charles Leclerc. Ooh, all right. Sainz, he is still holding back Lando Norris here. We'll see if he can hold him back for, and how much longer he can do that for. There are 7 laps remaining of this race as Charles Leclerc comes across the start-finish line for the 47th time in this race. Carlos Sainz could get a podium on his birthday, but Lando Norris is going to do his best to prevent that. Once former teammates, now rivals, competing for a podium at Monza. Here comes Lando Norris. Carlos Sainz, he looks to the inside, he looks in his mirrors, but Lando Norris too far back to get an overtake done, and he'll have to concede to fight another day. Alright folks, if you could hit 7,000 likes, that'd be fantastic. If you haven't hit the like button, it would very much be appreciated. And once again, I do have to say this, if you are a fan of F1, which clearly you are, you're watching Formula 1 right now, and you want to watch all of the live coverage with team radios, with onboards and all of that, and with this data, then F1 TV Pro, the link is in the description. It helps out the channel massively. They've come over the radio. They've come over the radio to Charles Leclerc. They say brake balance +1. They said leave me alone with this. I'll do things. Wait, let me read that again. I don't do things you ask. Don't ask 10 times. If I don't do things you ask, don't ask 10 times. Charles Leclerc is getting quite angry over the radio here, and fair enough. He's got to keep the lead of this race. He's got all of the Tifosi's hopes and dreams are on his shoulders right now, and Oscar Piastri is chasing him down. Here comes Carlos Sainz. Can he defend against Lando Norris into Parabolica? Yes, he can, but Norris is going to be so close going through, coming down the main straight now. It's not even going to be close now. Here comes Sainz. He deploys all of the overtake mode that he's got, and so does Lando Norris. Norris with the DRS breezes past Carlos Sainz, and Sainz falls off the podium at Ferrari's home race. Very, very unfortunate there for Carlos Sainz, but Lando Norris up into 2nd place, and it is a 2-3 for Lando Norris, 2-3 for McLaren, sorry. And this is one thing that I'd like to say here. Lando Norris could win the championship against Max Verstappen, but the thing is, he would have to win most of the races with Max Verstappen scoring some decent points. But the problem is, it's not just the Red Bull and the McLaren that are the 2 quick teams. There's also the Ferraris, there's also the Mercedes, and that throws a massive spanner in the works. So Norris won't be able to win every single race, even though he might be the quickest in quali. Piastri, the Ferraris, the Mercedes, they're going to be quick in the race, and yeah, let's wait and see. 6 laps left of this race, and Oscar Piastri's got an 8.7 second gap to close to Charles Leclerc. Let's see what he can do, but it's going to be a tall order. Leclerc's got no one ahead of him to give him some DRS assistance or some slipstream assistance. Piastri does have 2 drivers ahead of him, Stroll and Ocon, who will give him a DRS and a tow. But 5 laps remain of this race, and the gap is 8 seconds. On the previous lap, Piastri gained 0.8 of a second, but it's not. It doesn't look like it's going to be enough. Folks, do let me know who is your drive of the day. Who do you think deserves drive of the day? We've got AG Cole. Thank you for being a YouTube member. Definitely helps out the channel as well. And I'll send you a link to the Discord.
Ferrari have nailed it to be in this
position. Verstappen's just come over the radio, said that people in the background, please be awake. I know it's a bad situation, but yeah, he's still driving the car or something along those lines. That's what he said. So Verstappen not particularly pleased with what's going on here. I don't think the Red Bull crew are paying much attention. He's in 6th position. There's a 4-second gap behind him, a 15-second gap ahead of him. Ooh, I don't know what's going on there. I think the data is just having a bit of a moment. Let me just refresh the team radios.
Monza.
There we go, that should sort things out. Alright, the team radios will come through shortly.
But he's got the lead.
But how did Leclerc get in first? Honestly, a brilliant race strategy from Ferrari. Would you have expected that? Brilliant race strategy from Ferrari. Not something on my bingo list, to be honest. But if we have a look at the Drivers' Championship, Norris will be gaining 15 points if the positions stay as they are now, and Verstappen will be gaining 9. That reduces the gap to 64 points now between Lando Norris and Max Verstappen. It's going to be an uphill battle if he wins this World Drivers' Championship. There may be a couple of DNFs involved. I definitely think Oscar Piastri should be driver of the day. He's led the race from the front. He's done a fantastic job. Maybe Charles Leclerc. He's done 38 laps on hard tyres and he's still not giving up. He's driving on the absolute limit. The front left is dead on his car. You can see just the lines forming on the front left. But every time through Lesmo 1, through Lesmo 2, he's managing to keep it on the circuit. Not a single time has Leclerc gone onto the gravel. Not a single time has he locked up. Absolute perfect focus from Charles Leclerc, and maybe that's why he deserves driver of the day. Wow, we've got 44,000 people tuned into live stream. Wow, that is fantastic. We're getting pretty close to 96,000 subscribers at this rate, folks. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, be sure to do so. It massively helps out the channel. And I'd love to hit 100k maybe by next race, maybe by the race after that. Colapinto has gained 5 positions this race. That is a brilliant point. Franco Colapinto has pulled off a one-stop strategy. He's done 33 laps on his set of hard tyres. He's gone from 18th position up into 13th. A brilliant drive by Colapinto, honestly. A fantastic job for his first race in Formula 1. Of course, he's not in the spotlight because he is down in 13th position, but nonetheless, a great drive from the rookie.
Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
And they've not been able to use it because the upgrades took a wrong turn in Barcelona. They've been a bit adrift for a while. Here comes Charles Leclerc then. 3 laps remain of this race. The gap is 6.7 seconds to Piastri. It is looking more and more sealed. Every single lap that goes on, it is looking more and more sealed for Charles Leclerc. He's just not got to make a mistake. A single mistake going off onto the gravel trap, and that gap turns to nothing. So yeah, let's wait and see. Charles is skating at turn 1. His tyres are awful. Indeed, they are. 35 laps on hard tyres, and they're not 35 slow laps. They are 35 quick laps pushed to the limit. So we'll see what Charles Leclerc can do. A lot of Tifosi hopes and dreams remain on his shoulders. He's got 3 more laps of this race, 2 more laps very, very shortly now. Yeah, he comes through Parabolica for the 3rd to last time. And they have thrown it away.
Yeah, he starts the penultimate lap of this race. Alright, I'm going to have a quick sip of water, folks. We have had such an exciting race so far. And yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in. We've got 44,000 people, which is a record breaking for the channel. Yeah, wow, what a turn of events this has been.
He knows it, he feels it, he can smell it.
Under the banking we go. The man with 6 career wins at the start of the day.
All right, here we go then. Lance Stroll comes into the pits. I don't know why Stroll's into the pits now. I think he's retiring from the race, maybe so he can get a new gearbox next race. Oh no, Stroll comes out of the pits as well. Okay, I don't know why he's just coming to the pits. He's coming to the pits for a fresh set of soft tyres. Very strange there for Lance Stroll. Temperature has dropped a little bit. It's down to 44 degrees Celsius. The gap up at the front, 4.7 seconds. It's dipped 2 seconds on the previous lap. Oh, we've got another member, Exoteric. Thank you for becoming a channel member. Very much is appreciated. And this strategy from Ferrari, an absolutely brilliant strategy when everyone else was thinking a 2-stop race because the hard tyres just were wearing out far too quickly. Ferrari decided to risk it. Charles Leclerc managed to pull this off. Well, I'm not going to speak too soon. There's 1 lap left of this race. notice we're on the final lap, and the Tifosi are up on their feet. They are cheering on Charles Leclerc. He goes towards the first chicane for the final time of this race, bounces over the curbs. As he does, onto the throttle he goes, and the gap behind him is 3.9 seconds. He goes through Curva Grande. The Tifosi in the grandstands are cheering. Monza is going absolutely wild, and he now comes towards the second chicane, breaks underneath the bridge and stays on the circuit. No sign of him making any sort of mistakes. Into Lesmo 2 for the final time. The front left tyre is screaming so loud. Exoteric $2 donation, thank you, and Sush as well, very much is appreciated. Thank you everyone for all of the support and all of the lovely messages in the chat and the donations and the Patreon members. Very much is appreciated. But this moment is all now down to Charles Leclerc. He comes through the Asari chicane for the final time. Fantastic.
He's won the race by 2.6 seconds for his 7th career victory, and it's one to savour.
It is indeed. Norris there unleashes the fastest lap right at the end. We have our